Special episode of the Walk-On Redshirts today. We got our friend Landon Tengwall in here today. We're doing a little bit of Clemson versus Penn State paper wars. I know I have seen all the arguments online. We've seen coaches switch sides in this debate as well. So we're here to have both sides and here to actually hash out the argument, go line by line, figure out who actually might be better this year. Appreciate you joining us, Landon.
It seems like we're on a crash course to meet up, Landon. I mean, I just feel like Clemson and Penn State, it's just written in the stars that 2025, 2026, they're going to meet up in the playoff. I feel like it's just written in the stars.
I think you're right. I'm feeling second round. We'll say, yeah, so quarterfinals. I'm feeling. I don't know where it's going to be, but I would love to see it. I would love to see the battle between Cade Klubnik and Drew Aller, see who can come out on top. And obviously, you know, it's been a little bit for Dabo, and Franklin hasn't gotten it done in a while, and really, well, I guess he's never gotten it done. But
well, winning at Vanderbilt counts in my book as getting it done. So
that's a good point.
Now, can we make a friendly wager that I don't have to hold myself to if I can't afford it?
All right, let's hear it.
If Penn State and Clemson meet, we have to meet up at the game.
Oh yeah, we're going to the game. No, we're gonna have to lock in like a pregame show at like some place. Whatever city we're in, we're there.
All right. You know what? I'll start a new credit card. We'll be there. I'm good.
Just yeah.
I'm not scared.
If we get enough interaction on Twitter, maybe we'll be able to afford our plane tickets that way. So, but if they don't meet, then we have to see you two meet up in the octagon and see who can go toe to toe between the two. You two former offensive linemen going at it.
I got 3 kids and a bad back. It'd be real quick.
All right, we know.
There'd be 2 hits. It'd be Kid Rock, Bata DeBa playing in the background, and Landon slamming me on the ground. It'd be over.
The one thing, William, one punch to the head, I might go down, bro.
You both might fall and hit the ground at the same time at that pace.
There we go.
So we're going to go line by line. We're going to start on defense with this side. We're going to do one half of the episode here on the Walk-On Redshirts. The other half you'll be able to go catch over on Landon's YouTube channel as well. What is it? Behind the Wall? Is that why? Am I getting it right?
Let's throw it out there. Went rebrand route. It's the Landon Tengwall show now. Yeah, I dug into a little research, figured out. I'm like, hey, why not just make it my name? It's the best brand recognition there is. So I'm in the middle actually of working on the logos and all that. So yeah, Landon Tengwall show on YouTube.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So yeah, you're
that's a dope shirt, here. By the way.
Thank you. Yeah, state of PA with Beaver Stadium inside of it. Yeah, this is a cool one. That's the nice part. I still do you still wear any merch from like your Clemson gear from back in the day?
It's become my entire wardrobe because I'm too cheap to buy new clothes. So I just wear clothes that I was given.
I'm the same way. God.
Yeah.
Offensive linemen are all the same.
Let's jump into this. So we're going to start on the defensive side of the ball. The defensive line is an intriguing one here for sure. And I think there's going to be on both sides, people will have their picks. Clemson, you've got TJ Parker, you've got Peter Woods on the defensive line. Over on Penn State, you got denied Dennis Sutton, you got Zane Durant. Both definitely have some big names on the defensive line. I'll let you start off, Landon. Tell me why could Penn State have the best defensive line in the Big Ten this year?
Yeah, I think like you said, obviously we've had that elite pass rusher every single year for it feels like a long time now. And I think Dennis Sutton is that guy now to be next in line to come in and just wreak havoc on offense, take away, just destroy the opposing offensive tackle. Now, I will say to put out there that every single year Penn State has had a very good second option across from their elite defensive end. So, for example, Abdul Carter had denied Dennis Sutton when Chop Robinson was our guy. If you're familiar with Adisa Isaac, he got drafted in the second round to the Ravens. So really good players across from them. I guess my only hesitation where I could give William and Clemson a little bit of room is that we don't really have that second option. Now, Penn State also had Max Granville. This was a young 4-star. He was supposed to be in the 2026 class. 25. He reclassified to 24 last year. So in the last moment, he joined the team last summer, got some snaps as a true freshman, should have been a senior in high school. Next thing you know, he's coming into this year supposed to be one of the guys and really could be poised for a breakout year, and goes and tears his ACL at home while he's working out on his high school football field. I'm laughing, but it sucks. It's very sad. So I like. I'm not even going to be. I got to be fair here. I studied a lot of TJ Parker because I watched a ton of Clemson, especially when I was studying for the SMU game. And I'm not going to lie, I do like TJ Parker. I think as an edge, just being able to actually work pass rush moves and get home and be like a wrecker, I don't know. I know we're supposed to go against each other, William, but I kind of like TJ Parker over Denai Dennis Sutton. Now, what I will say is, did watch some Peter Woods. Obviously, very impressed with him. I think Zane Durant's better. Zane Durant's actually the person that ended my college football career. So, listen, all I remember is just hearing Zane talk like this because he's like from Florida. He's like from the South. And all I remember hearing, like, he like knocks me out and I'm like on the ground, like heavily concussed. And I just remember hearing like, "You all right? You all right, big dog?" And I'm like,
yeah.
And I'm like, no, just like crying, passed out. But say a lot to say.
I South, that's one word, by the way. It's not "you all right." It's "yite."
Yeah. Nah, dog. I'm not. Went back to the locker room and cried after that one. No, but I think after that, and then basically the other starting defensive end across from Denai Sutton is going to be this guy Zariah Fisher, and this is someone who I was playing against him. He's a 6th-year guy, so been here for a long time, but he has had 2 season-ending injuries that happened in the spring both times. So really unproven, a guy that's been injured. There's questions, can he even make it through the season? And then I mentioned Max Granville was kind of thought to be, hey, he might take over for Zariah Fisher by week 4 or 5, the Oregon game. Well, that's not an option anymore. So we are really thin at defensive line. So it's top heavy. Zane Durant and Denai Dennis Sutton are going to be really, really good. But I'm a little bit worried if, God forbid, an injury happens or, we need to rely on some other defensive linemen. It does start to get a little scarce, whereas I do think Clemson has a little bit more depth there. But listen, I'm always riding with my guys, and I think I'll take Denai Dennis Sutton, even though I said I think TJ Parker's a little more talented. Denai Dennis Sutton over TJ Parker in sacks this year. Shout out to our defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles. And tell Tom Allen to go, take a hike or take a nap, take a nap or something like that, So, William, I'll pass to you for the D line.
Yeah, no, I'll take that lick to the chin. I'm gonna eat it, and I'm gonna send one back to you. So, you talked about TJ Parker, and I mean, everybody knows his accolades. Last year, he had 20 tackles for loss. He had 11 sacks. He tied for the lead in the country in 6 forced fumbles. He knows how to get after the ball. That's amazing. You know what he didn't have last year? Last year, he didn't have a counterpart. It was a platoon of Cade Denhoff, Jaheim Lawson. They just couldn't quite find that guy that could pair with them. Now enters Will Help from Purdue. Now, Purdue, blah, blah, blah. Turn on Will Help's tape. This dude's fast. He's long. He's explosive. He works hard. Everybody that I've talked to at Clemson has told me he's just put himself right in there as if he's been there this entire time. He just, works perfectly in that locker room. He's a dude. Had 5 sacks at Purdue last year and 10 tackles for loss. I want to see that. I think that number is going to go up. He's not going to be the war daddy anymore. He's got TJ Parker over there. So now you got Will Hilt on the opposite side. You have the depth built because you had rotating people trying to play behind TJ Parker or beside TJ Parker and Jaheim Lawson, Cade Denhoff, like I mentioned. So you've got depth now. We didn't have that last year. Now come to the inside. You've got Peter Woods, like you mentioned. Everybody knows about Peter Woods, potential first-round draft pick. Everybody's got him in the top 10, him and TJ Parker. Who people aren't talking about, who I want to focus on, is DeMonte Capehart. And what DeMonte Capehart does is he is a line of scrimmage mover. He's not going to beat you with finesse. He's going to take your center, he's going to take your guard, and he's going to push him 2-3 yards off of the line of scrimmage and make it very difficult for the running back to make a decision. Or he's going to make the decision for him by putting the guard into his lap. It's a free lap dance. So go back, watch the Notre Dame game from 2023. Watch what he did to an NFL center, where he put the NFL center into the lap of Sam Hartman and then grabbed Audric Estime, who was a huge running back, and threw him to the ground. He's a beast. He's healthy. Pairing him with Peter Woods is great. Where's the double team going to come from? Now, I talked about depth too. Defensive tackle, there's also a plethora of depth. We have 5-star Amari Adams who came in there, and I went and watched him in spring ball, and that is not a freaking high school player. How the hell you can look like that when you're 17 years old and you should still be, and you're supposed to be at prom, and you're practicing with these dudes who've been here for years, and you're manhandling them? That is not fair. That is not okay, and it's not fair. You also have former 5-star Vic Burley, who's been battling some injuries. If he can stay healthy, he'd provide a good depth piece. So I'm very, very confident in Clemson's defensive line this year. I really think what they bring to the table. If you want to go toe to toe and you think Denai Dennis Sutton's better than TJ Parker, okay, you can have that. Zane Durant's better than Peter Woods. Okay, you can have that. it's the depth that I think really sets Clemson apart. Because when that first line comes out, they put another one in there that those guys can play in the NFL too.
This is unfair because I'll tell you what, I just keep hearing 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. Our second defensive tackle wasn't even ranked coming out of high school. That's what we're dealing with.
And Clemson is D-line U. You know, Bryce Petty Wright, you know, shout out to this kid who's a 5-star. He's cousins with Grady Jarrett, which I don't know if everybody's heard of him. One of the highest paid defensive tackles in the league. Just committed to Texas A&M over Clemson and called Texas A&M defensive line U. Go do some research, buddy, and find out who the real defensive line U is.
Defensive line U at Texas A&M is transfer out defensive line U. So I feel like I'm Tony Reale up here. I feel like I need to have a button and keep giving you guys points as we go through all these.
I like that.
I feel like I'm doing an old school round.
Hey, that show's over and he's selling that. He's selling the scoreboard. We should have had it for this.
I don't think I can afford that, but
we'll chip in our Twitter monetization and then we'll see if we can come up with it maybe.
There we go.
I have negative $11 a month. You think that can help?
So my opinion on this, I think it's close, but I think just like Will said, the depth I think kind of gives Clemson the edge here. But overall, like if somebody pushed the issue and said Penn State, I think at the end of the year, it wouldn't shock me if we come back here in either one.
You're saying Clemson wins this one?
Yeah, I'll give you.
Hey,
Clemson.
I might have to end the podcast real quick. Who's up? Who's up right now?
You're
how?
You're taking a picture of the scoreboard in 5 minutes in the first quarter.
It's completely coincidence that I need to stop this podcast right now with me in the lead. I would, if it was the other way, I still would have ended it, Landon.
Yeah. All right, linebackers. Sammy Brown is the big name, I think, over there at Clemson, former 5-star. Again, we're just dropping that name again, former 5-star. I think Tony Rojas is the big name over there at Clemson, but they also brought in Penn State. But Amari Campbell also comes in from North Carolina, which seemed like he was a pretty productive linebacker. I'm sure you've done way more research on him, Landon, than I have. But from what it looks like in the optics, he was a pretty productive linebacker. Left Bill Belichick's system, comes to Penn State. We'll let you go first this week. Why is Sammy Brown going to lift a truck by himself this year?
Well, first off, I start and end with the same thing. It's his mullet. So anybody that can rock a mullet in this day and age, a curly mullet in this day and age at linebacker, I mean, you're essentially just tapping into the Boz. So that sets him apart right there. He was third in the team in tackles, and he played 40% of what everybody else played. Sammy Brown's a freak. He just has a nose to be around the football. He played running back and linebacker in high school, played both sides of the ball, did not quit. Just a freak of nature. Very strong, one of the strongest people on the team. As a freshman, he's now a sophomore. He's got a year under his belt. But I don't want to focus on him too. I want to go, talk about depth. We have Wade Woodaz. Wade Woodaz was a safety, 3-star, Landon. So 3-star out of the Tampa area, I believe. Was recruited as a safety. Comes down to linebacker, puts on some weight, and has quietly become one of the best linebackers in the ACC. I think a lot of people who do NFL draft talk will talk about him towards the end of the season. I think he could be second, third round, maybe fourth round draft pick this year. He's really, really athletic. He can jump super high. He's a safety playing linebacker. So that we got that going for us. We got Jamal Anderson back there who's hit or miss. He's done really well with rushing the passer from the linebacker position, but leaves a little bit to be desired in covering. D. Creighton is still there. We get Kobe McLeod. He's back after tearing his ACL last year in the second game of the season. That was a big loss towards our depth. So the depth behind Wade Woodaz and Sammy Brown are a lot less experienced than we have at the defensive line, but they're dudes that were recruited well and have a lot of untapped potential. But you want to talk about guys who can just get after the ball, cause turnovers, tip passes. That's what Wade Woodaz and Sammy Brown do.
In risk of maybe getting canceled here, I just have to ask this question: do you guys have a full white, like a white starting linebacker core?
Yes, we do. And
no,
you can set your clock to one thing. Every single year, Clemson is going to have a stud, crazy white linebacker. Every year, I'm talking Spencer Shuey. From when I was there was Spencer Shuey, which you
Ben Boulware wasn't.
I was going to say Ben. I know Ben Boulware is a good one.
I hadn't got there yet. So Spencer Shuey was the first one. He's the one who ended Braxton Miller's career. He got him in the ribs in the Orange Bowl. I can't remember who won that game. I'll look that one up in a minute, Jake. So
Don't worry, I have the picture of you jumping on the sideline from ESPN somewhere.
That's right. That's my highlight from college, baby. I got that and a high five from Dado on his boat. Spencer Shuey, crazy white linebacker. Ben Boulware, crazy white linebacker. James Skalski, crazy white linebacker. Brandon Spector, crazy white linebacker. Sammy Brown and Wade Woodaz, crazy white linebackers. We got Fs now. So Clemson knows how to find white linebackers for some reason.
I found Sammy Brown's rushing stats from high school. And
Unreal.
2,200 yards rushing, 9 yards per carry, 36 touchdowns as a senior, 68 rushing touchdowns. If you need a running back, just look at the Sammy Brown. Apparently, he can play running back too.
And he's a great fisherman.
Good. Well, if we're talking about linebackers playing running back, let's talk about Tony Rojas for a second. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Virginia as a running back. And if you watch the SMU game where we had 2 pick sixes, you saw Tony Rojas put that on full display, his moves. Listen, the biggest thing for me for Tony Rojas is last year he had a shoulder brace on. And anytime you see that strap around the shoulder, just know that guy has a labrum that has been through some things. And that means you're generally playing with the torn labrum, which is basically what Tony Rojas was playing with. He got surgery and missed spring ball, but he was really at times it struggled. He looked like he had to tackle with one arm a lot of the time. And so that's why his missed tackle rate was around 22%. It was pretty bad. Our whole linebacking unit had a 20% missed tackle rate last year, which was a little bit rough. Now, you do mention the addition of Amari Campbell. It definitely excites me. He was in to put it nicely, a chaotic UNC defense and not them causing chaos being brought upon them by opposing offenses. Because my God, it was bad watching the tape. There were times he was a little bit out of position, but I would watch the pre-snap and he would be having to yell at guys to line them up because the UNC defense was just that bad. So I think getting him here in a Jim Knowles defense around a lot of other great talent is actually going to allow Amari Campbell to kind of thrive and be that true Mike linebacker that Penn State needs in 2025. Now, this is LBU. We know that we are fantastic at linebacker. We are changing to basically we were last year, but we're fully committing to a 4-2-5. And James Franklin even said that we are doing that because our linebackers are not that good. And so, I once again, I feel like I'm just kind of giving this, the rounds away to William over here, but it's hard.
Your time's coming. Don't worry.
I know we're going to get there. I don't know. I'm thinking the offense might be a little bit better for Penn State here, but the linebacking core, it's unproven. There is a lot of talent there, especially with Tony Rojas. Yeah, he has the opportunity to be one of the best linebackers in college football. But also, if he just continues where he's kind of left off last year, like I said, he's no longer injured. But if he still goes on that same route, he's really not worth too much, if you want me to be honest. So where I'm sitting at, I would say, honestly, the Penn State linebacking core is probably the biggest question mark going into 2025 for Penn State. I'm trying to be as fair as possible. I want to argue for my guys, but unfortunately, I can't do much. Where you're called LBU, and we literally switched from a 4-3 to a 4-2 just because our linebackers were that weak.
What are the chances we see the new number 11 get any sort of meaningful snaps this year?
No, we're not seeing LeVar Arrington Jr. As much as I would love it, he is unfortunately not Abdul Carter, where you can actually really play him as a freshman. I think he's going to be very good, but he's just he's not that talent level. I don't think so.
And you know what? Check out Landon and I's collaborative video where we go over LeVar Arrington Jr.'s or the second. Is he the junior or is he the second?
He is actually specifically, you're right. He does like to go by the second. He does not like the junior. He likes being called the second.
LeVar Arrington the second's highlight tape from high school. We went into and broke it down a little bit. Had a good time doing that.
No, it was a great video. I am agreeing with Landon here. I think that there is potential here because I think the Amari Campbell addition, like you said, he came from a very chaotic team. I mean, at one point, Mac Brown was like being told to step down in the middle of the season. And I don't really know how you work through that your whole season when they gave up 70 points to James Madison and they were basically told Mac Brown, like, you should step down. And he goes, no, but maybe. And then he did step down. So, yeah, I think Amari Campbell could definitely elevate that. Dom DeLuca feels like he's been in college for like 30 years at this point.
Shout out Dom. That was my roommate. I had to throw that
so
in there.
feels like he's been on the team for a while. So at least you've got some veteran experience and leadership there. I mean, he had a pick 6 in the playoff.
He did. He had 2 interceptions against SMU. No, Dom, I can't believe that was kind of crazy that I just left out like basically one of my best friends. But yeah, no, Dom is a team guy. When you look to someone for a pregame hype speech, you're just looking to someone for some energy. Dom has always got it. Talk about walk-on redshirt. Dom was a walk-on. Very quick story. Was a phenom in public school, high school. Played every single position. Was a superstar. Had all the offers. Tears his ACL in the state championship game. Finishes the game. Brings them back from a 3-touchdown deficit on a torn ACL. Gets all of his scholarships ripped. He decides to gray shirt, skips a whole year, then comes in with my class, works his butt off, gets everybody's respect, then gets a full scholarship when we were actually out at the Rose Bowl. We beat the crap out of him, and then, whatever, he's coming back to be one of the few 3-time captains at Penn State. So Dom DeLuca does deserve a lot of credit there, and hopefully he can help shore up that linebacker room, Jake.
If Bill Belichick was still with the Patriots, he would be screaming New England Patriot already. But but now he's not going to North Carolina. So, but if he,
I'm screaming Walk-On Redshirts. Come on the show, get an interview. We want to hear your story.
I'll get him on for the boys for sure.
There we go. All right, let's move into the secondary here. I think this is where we might see.
Who wins? Did you say who won?
The man that's going to be able to lift a truck by himself because he's got a curly mullet.
That mullet gives him an 80 overall on the new college football game by itself.
That mullet's like plus 10 automatically. So I put out there, I think he needs to have like the neck roll, bring back like the old school neck roll. So the secondaries here, Penn State's got 2, I would consider basically superstars there. AJ Harris, Zachy Wheatley, those 2 guys, I mean, they're talking. AJ Harris is being talked about as a first-round pick already, and Wheatley has been around the ball. I mean, I remember years ago when you guys played Purdue, when he was probably either a sophomore or redshirt freshman, 14 a fumble or an interception. Meanwhile, Clemson's got some pretty good guys on their team. They've got Avian Terrell, AJ Terrell's little brother, and Ashton Hampton, who had one of the most ridiculous interceptions of the year last year against Virginia Tech. If you can't find it, go watch it. It's crazy. Landon, AJ Harris is probably going to anchor this with Wheatley. Like, are they going to be close? They're not. I don't want to say no fly zone. This isn't the mid-2000 Michigan State team. Was pretty crazy. But Jim Knowles has seemed to do well with defensive backs overall.
Yeah, he loves especially his safeties, and that's where I'm most excited for him to get his hands on Zachy Wheatley and see where he's going to put him around the field. I'm not saying Zachy Wheatley is Caleb Downs, but still a very
They moved Caleb Downs down in the box. They'd move him basically wherever they want. So there's always one safety that you've got to account for because you never know where he's going to line him up.
Exactly. He's going to have, like I said, schematically is going to be fun for this defense. I've already, talking to a lot of the guys, they're just excited about what he is drawing up for them. Zachy Wheatley, since I played him in high school, I mean, he was always just a ball hawk, and he's the same way in college. If you remember him, got a fumble against Ashton Genty, Boise State, had the pick against Notre Dame. It just felt like he always had an interception or a fumble. So I think he is just going to continue that dominance. And I even said I think he's going to have like 7 to 8 turnovers minimum this year. That's what I got for him. And as you said, AJ Harris was a great get from Georgia, actually transferred in, wasn't getting a ton of burn, and then decided to come here, and it turned out really, really good for him. Other guy we have is Davian Collins. He's going to be the cornerback opposite AJ Harris. He is a 4.2 speed guy. So hopefully can stick with any type of burners that we have to face when we'll talk about this Clemson offense here in a little bit. I don't know. Maybe we have to face you guys. I got him locking down a couple guys. I'm not really worried about Antonio Williams or any of those guys. I think he'd clamp it down. And now, if I do want to be fair, I guess the other safeties, there is a little bit of a question mark. We had a really interesting situation. We had this young guy named King Mack. Came here for freshman year. Decides, I'm going to go ahead and leave. I think it was one of those family influence decisions where it's not in their best interest. He gets the bag from Alabama, goes to Alabama last year, barely plays, decides to come back to Penn State where he would have played a ton because superstar KJ Winston got injured in week 2 for Penn State, and that would have left a great gap for King Mack. But King Mack coming back is going to be that second safety next to Zachy Wheatley. and not super great in pass coverage, but is a run stuffer, is like that heat-seeking missile that will fly around and loves to just hit people. So overall, I think this is a really, really good secondary. Penn State has actually been really solid in the secondary for as long as I've been around the program. And I think it's only going to continue to get better, like I said, with Jim Knowles being creative. How can I get these safeties around the line of scrimmage, bring them on those exotic blitzes, and just allow them to actually have fun while they're playing college football? Tom Allen won't do that. Go ahead, William. You're up.
Who's Jim Knowles?
Never heard of him.
Some old guy.
Never heard of him.
But I don't know who he is.
I was actually I have this series I do at the local cigar den where I interview like different lettermen, and I like walk in one day and I'm like interviewing a former player from like the 80s, and Jim Knowles is just in there smoking a cigar and just like sat there and watched it the entire time. Really,
That's
like
cool.
he looks like an evil like super villain when he's just like
Yes,
sitting there. Yeah, very much so. Sorry.
Oh, he's got mastermind written all over him from some box office movie.
My, Mr. Bond. Next time, try the side door. I'm expecting him to say that at some point this year.
William, how is there a Venable still playing at Clemson?
He's just a coach with pads on. So Tyler Venables, don't know how it's happening, but he's there. He's pretty funny too. I got to meet him indirectly. We did a career fair there, and just a really, really personable guy. Not sure how he got some more eligibility, but more power to you, man. Keep it going. He's going to be a coach next year. I mean, he's just a football guy. Those who can't coach, I'm not saying he can't, but he'll be a great coach.
Anyways, go ahead and talk about your secondary, because
this one's going to be tougher. Yeah, this one's going to be tougher. I'm not going to highlight Tyler Venables. He does bring a lot of experience to the room, so I can say that he's a second set of eyes that we maybe won't have with Coach Kahn and Coach Reed, Mike Reed. But what does Clemson do well? We have two really good corners. We have Avion Terrell, who's also projected first round pick, former four stars, brother of AJ Terrell. Started as a freshman and made a highlight play. You want to talk about Ashton Hampton's highlight play last year against Virginia Tech? Go 2 years back to watch Avion Terrell's highlight play against Georgia Tech, where he turns around, catches the ball with one hand in midair. Just a playmaker. And in some ways, I think he plays man-to-man better than AJ could. AJ was a really good zone defender, but I mean, also could play some man-to-man. But you go and you watch the LSU game, kind of got beat a couple times, but who didn't get beat by Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson? So don't really want to hold too much against him on that. But Avion Terrell is a dude. Little handsy at times, but as a dude. And he's not afraid to keep putting his hands on you, keep talking, keep chirping. He is a quintessential, stereotypical cornerback. He's there. He's going to let you know he's there, and he's going to make some plays. And when he makes some plays, he's going to let you know when he does that too. And that's the best cornerbacks too. Ashton Hampton, like I said, true freshman last year coming in, true sophomore. You just hope he avoids the sophomore slump. The guy's got height. He's got confidence. He's got speed. He's got it all. He's a guy that we beat out Florida State for in the last minute. A 3-star dude out of Tallahassee, right out of Florida State's backyard. I think the high school he went to is called like Tallahassee University or something like that. Pretty confusing. But the guy's a stud. Now, you go back and you peel the curtain and you go into the depth of our cornerback position. We've got a former 5-star in Jaden Lucas out of South Carolina, 6'2", 6'3" guy. But that has battled injuries, especially in his shoulder. Sorry, Landon. It's another one of those guys.
How many 5-stars do you guys just stash?
Listen, cows and NIL, baby. God takes 10%. 5% goes to God. 5% goes to Dabo, baby. We're going to keep funding these guys. And the cow farms. The cow farms are doing good. We make our own ice cream, make our own cheese, make our own money. I'm not supposed to say that last part. But Jaden Lucas, former 5-star guy, just has battled injuries. He's back for his senior year, and this is a guy that if he takes that next step and can play the entire year, can end up being drafted. He's got that type of athleticism. His worst ability is his availability right now. That's just how it is. Colin Griffin was a guy, or Shelton Lewis, was a guy who was supposed to play a lot last year. Sprained his knee the week of the Georgia game. Still got a couple snaps. Just wasn't. He was a shell of himself. He's a speed guy. He's a man-to-man dude. Didn't have it. And we're not going to talk about that Georgia game. It didn't count. So you kind of lack a little bit in the depth position. But the two guys you have, there's a lot proven with Avion Terrell. Ashton Hampton's shown what he can do. But what can he do again? Can he stack the years? Or is he going to, get fat on what he's already done? Then you go to Khalil Barnes, a guy who plays nickel. He's going to be that dude that Tom Allen likes to use, that comes up in the box, plays back. Khalil Barnes is a really good playmaker. He was the first player in Clemson history, or excuse me, I'm wording this incorrectly. He was the first player in 20 years to have back-to-back turnovers caused himself. So he had a fumble recovery against South Carolina, and the very next play on South Carolina's possession, he had a pick. The last Clemson player to do that before him was Brian Dawkins in 1990-something, 95, 96. So the dude can play. He's a ball hawk. He's similar to Zakee Wheatley. He doesn't quite have the athleticism and the hitting ability that Zakee Wheatley does, but he's Zakee Wheatley light in that sense. And then, funny enough, in the bowl game after that, Barrett Carter did the same exact thing. He got a fumble recovery and a pick. So he was the first player to do it since.
Maybe Clemson's just not good at doing that, and that's why it took so long, because they did it right then again.
That's true. That could be it. We need more Brian Dawkins in the backfield. But the safety position,
you just grow them on trees. It's like the 5 stars.
There's a lot of question marks at safety. To the point where I'm not even confident we have Khalil Barnes who's going to play that strong safety, but we really don't know who's going to play free safety. Is he going to be Ricardo Jones? Is it going to be Ronan Halfman? It's going to be Kylan Griffin. It's going to be free safety by committee. My opinion, if you're going to have a committee, that's the best place to have it, is at safety. I really don't want a linebacker. I really don't want it at end. Been there, done that, had that, got that T-shirt. Don't want it at corner. If you're going to have someone who has to have someone else take up for him, maybe it's safety. But I don't know. That's my best presentation I can give you. We lack depth, but we've got some high-end star power in Khalil Barnes, Ashton Hampton, and Avion Terrell.
Just want to throw out there before Jake awards this point that I think William and I can both agree the position that you hate the most as an offensive lineman are DBs. You just want
absolutely.
Just want to strangle them and So
Dabo had us do what's called accountability teams. So all the seniors would draft players, and we had a big board of everybody on the team that you could draft, and we ranked them. The number one position that was taken all the time were kickers and offensive linemen, because the accountability part was showing up on time to the weight room, having good grades, not having below a 2.5 GPA. Showing up
the kickers aren't
right. Showing up to study hall, and then the last one was not missing workouts and whatever. DBs were always taken last. Nobody wanted to draft the DBs. Nobody, because then your accountability team got in trouble when they got in trouble.
Oh, that's bad.
It was bad. But so I can agree with you. DBs are probably the bane of my existence.
Well, Penn State's getting the point here for this one. When you say Wheatley light, well, that means you'd rather have Wheatley, and that kind of helps the case right there.
If I'm being completely honest and transparent and take my Clemson hat off, Zakee Wheatley is my favorite safety in this class. I sometimes like him more than Caleb Downs, and maybe that's the hipster in me, because everybody's hyping up Caleb Downs. All right, I gotta go get to the grain. But Zakee Wheatley is not someone to be reckoned with, and he's not someone that you should not have in the same conversation as Caleb Downs. I'm gonna be honest with you. AJ King, same thing. They're both.
He's got a knack for the ball. He just seems like at the right time, he just finds a way to get the ball back, get the ball out of somebody's hands, knock it away, take it away some way, somehow. He just seems like he has them.
He's got some piss to him too. The dude does not quit. He's got some piss to him. I like watching a safety who plays like that. Caleb Downs is the same way. I don't want to take away from Caleb Downs, or even talk about Ohio State. Get him out of here.
I was like, you're talking about a team that isn't even included in this debate.
Yeah, get Ohio State out of here. No, I will say last thing on Zakee Wheatley, won the defensive MVP of the Fiesta Bowl against Boise State. Would have won it against Notre Dame if we did not choke that one away. He had 17 tackles and 2 turnovers in that game. It wasn't even close. He would have easily won it. But yeah, we can't win a big game. So sorry. Let's continue.
So the last thing here before we jump over, and then you'll be able to catch the rest over on Landon's, is defensive coordinator. And there's familiarity here because Tom Allen was the defensive coordinator at Penn State last year.
Jim Knowles, Tom Allen, please introduce him correctly.
Jim Knowles is now the defensive coordinator at Penn State. I don't think we need to spend too much time because both of you guys are implementing new defensive coordinators here. But why is it a great move for Tom Allen to leave Penn State and now move to Clemson?
To be closer to his daughter. Sorry. Okay.
Be closest to his daughter. Yeah. And his kids. He's a family man. The dude loves family. He wants to be happy. And the best place, and I will say Dabo does a really good job. Like, we have family night every Wednesday. The coaches bring their kids, and then you have to eat with them. So, like, in the dining hall for football players, all the coaches are there, all the kids are there, all the wives are there. It's a really cool experience to see your coach take their hat off. It's also insane when you see a guy who just dog cussed you and made you feel like you were 2 inches tall, then turn around and give his daughter a big hug and act like a little softy. It's like, how is that the same human? But so I do think that plays a role. I know we're joking a little bit, but like what Tom Allen brings, he brings intensity, he brings experience. That's two things that we didn't have at defense coordinator the last couple of years. Obviously, we had that in Brent Venables when I was there. The dude was a mastermind, and the dude was an insane person, but I loved him. Tom Allen, he seems to bring those same things. I don't know him as well as you do, Landon. I didn't play for him. I wasn't on the same team as him. But from what I've seen, he brings energy. The dude is loud as hell at practice every single day. I went to a practice, and I don't think he stopped talking the entire time. And he's saying the same thing over and over again. He's getting on the guys. He's making them, he's just making sure they bring the energy and make sure they tackle. Everything they're doing, he was tackle, which is what Clemson could not do last year. So if Tom Allen is able to bring that experience and able to bring that energy and able to bring, some fire back to that Clemson defense, we can go from being the 70th freaking rush defense, which is what our bread and butter used to be, to bringing a formidable defense again. So I can't speak too much on Tom Allen. I don't know what he can do for us specifically, because I haven't seen him coach for us yet. But the bar is high, and his potential is high. He's not coming off of a national championship, though. So
this is what I'm going to say. I hope he's not calling your plays for you into the headset. So here's a quick story on Tom Allen. It was week 2, Bowling Green, and Penn State had that real close call against Bowling Green. They almost beat us, and we pulled it out the last minute. Well, Bowling Green was able to score 35 points on our defense because our defense could not line up correctly. And this was because, and this was shared within the Penn State sphere. Tom Allen was calling in plays to Kobe King, number 41. Kobe King could not understand Tom Allen because he was yelling so hard and his voice is so raspy.
Yeah.
Like Kobe couldn't hear, he couldn't get everybody lined up. And that was kind of like the excuse. So actually now our linebacker coach, Dan Connor, who was kind of a legend here, played in the NFL for a while. Yeah. He took over calling duties all year after the Bowling Green game because Kobe King could not understand. And this is the first year where you have headset technology where someone's wearing that green dot, meaning they have, the mic in their heads, in their helmet. And yeah, Kobe King did not do well with that. So that's my initial Tom Allen story. I hope he's not calling in plays to those linebackers. Maybe he can communicate a little bit better with the boys. But
I'm afraid Wade Woodaz might yell back at him.
That's a possibility. Damn right. All right. Look, at the end of the day, Jim Knowles, we know what it is. We paid a lot of money for him, $3.1 million per year to be exact. If he's not better than Tom Allen, well, good God, get us some help because that'd be really sad. Tom Allen, he was good. It felt at times he just, I'm going to be honest, for me, he choked away the Notre Dame game. Just to get a little technical right here, I'm trying to blank. Who was Notre Dame's quarterback? Why can't I think?
Riley Leonard.
He could not find his way out of the cover 2 defense. We forced 2 turnovers. We were just sitting in cover 2. It was great. Now, Penn State's bread and butter with Tom Allen specifically was a lot of man coverage. I don't know why. We're sitting there. Like I said, we're doing great. Riley Leonard's struggling. And then we decide to go man-to-man. And next thing you know, that Greathouse breaks 2 of our defensive backs' ankles, and the rest is history. And it made me so angry because we were in a position where it was just like there was about 4 minutes left in the game, and we're up 24-17. And it's like you want to go press man coverage with this kid, Cam Miller, literally gets his ankle snapped off the line, and then poor Jalen Reed also gets his ankle snapped by Greathouse, and now I have to see that clip every goddamn day on Twitter.
Hey, he was ready to come home to the upstate, baby. He was ready to come home.
So saying all
God's
this,
country.
Not only do I have a grudge against Tom Allen, he makes my life miserable when Notre Dame fans just taunt us on Twitter. But seriously, no, Knowles just studying his defense, one of the most talented minds in all of college football. Gotten to talk to a lot of people on the team about it. They are very excited about what he has coming. Blitz packages, all that good stuff. I think it's going to be a great year for this Penn State defense.
Yeah, I'm giving Knowles the edge here. That's a pretty obvious
A
one.
little bias there, Jake. A little bias.
Yeah, slight bias.
Yeah, I mean, slight bias. Now, the one thing, this is just my commentary there, is the first year of Jim Knowles was not perfect, but also what he was entering Ohio State, the talent level there. I mean, there was talent, but where they were coming from was one of the worst defenses in the country at that point. So making the progress from there to where it became was much more of a journey rather than already starting with a top 10 defense. I just have Donovan Edwards running 80 yards burned into my skull because that's when I walked out, because Donovan Edwards just burst it and Lathan Ransom is like trying to chase him down and falls short. So that's where I have, because he was a little too over aggressive, and then he became almost fixed too hard the other way the next year, but eventually got there. But yes, I think Jim Knowles is the best defensive coordinator in the country. I think there's a reason why everybody that had a defensive coordinator opening wanted him, and a reason why they're paying him $3.1 million. It's pretty obvious there. Well, that'll do it for defense here. You can catch the rest over on the what'd you say it was, Landon Tengwall show? Is that
Yes, sir.
The Landon Tengwall show? Catch the offense over on there. We'll also do the offense coordinator, and then the most exciting part will be the head coaches. Well, actually, the quarterback's probably the most exciting part, if I'm being honest. So you can go catch us over there and catch the rest over on the Landon Tengwall show.